Welcome to our next chair yoga class. We're going to be using a chair yoga class meant to address any neck and shoulder discomfort today. So these poses that we use are going to be very neck and shoulder friendly. If you have a yoga strap or a bathrobe tie, a soft piece of rope, and even a long bath towel, we are going to use that later on for some of our poses, so have that close by. Definitely have something to drink. I like to have some water close by so we can stay hydrated. And I do want to point out something that is a tiny little thing that can make a world of difference if you're someone who's guarding your shoulders and you like to participate in yoga. So a lot of yoga poses will have an overhead arm option. And one of the things we can do as smart yogis and yoginis is we can make sure that we're lifting the arms overhead in the best way possible for this body. So there is a tiny little thing I want to point out. If you're ever doing overhead arms in our class or with anyone else, when you start off, you'll have your arms down alongside the body, and the palms are usually turning toward you, toward your body or toward the chair if you're seated. So when we lift the arms up to shoulder height, we want to flip the palms over so they now are shining toward the ceiling and then continue upward. And when we bring them down to shoulder height, we're going to turn those palms back downward. So we inhale up to shoulder height, turn the palms up, continue to lift arms overhead. Then we lower the arms to shoulder height, turn the palms down, and continue down. So when you put it all together, it's a tiny little change that you might not notice if you're not paying attention, but it makes a world of difference to your shoulders in keeping them comfortable and in keeping them safe. And I just want to show you what happens when we don't do that little flip at the shoulder height. So if we start with arms down and we lift those arms up as high as they can possibly go, you'll see that eventually they get to kind of a stopping point and the palms don't naturally even come together. And then I might start to develop some discomfort there in the shoulders. But if I turn the palms over, I can easily bring the arms together and palms touch and then come on back down. Now in our class today, normally we would use overhead arms for a sun salutation, but we're just going to bring those arms up to shoulder height today. If you want to continue to go upward, use that little flip of the hands, certainly do so. It's always up to you. Now let's go ahead and get comfortable on the chair. We always want to sit forward on the seat, both feet connecting to the floor at hips distance apart, which is about 2 fists wide, wedged between the knees. Sitting up tall, let's start to roll the shoulders back and down. And we know that if rolling the shoulders is not comfortable, we can simply lift and lower. Inhaling as we lift, exhaling as we lower the shoulders. So whichever method feels good to you, let's start to unwind a little bit here. When we unwind through the shoulders, we feel the chest opening up naturally for us. We feel our posture lifting. And it's a nice physical signal to the body that it's time to start our practice. It's time to bring the focus within. Now, when the shoulders feel good and relaxed, let's relax them down away from the ears. Let's keep the abdominals engaged so we're sitting up tall on the chair in a nice active position. Now you're welcome to close your eyes here if you'd like to. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, as long as those passageways are clear. And if they're not, please just breathe as comfortably as you can. As we hear the sound of our deep breathing, we're reminded to breathe throughout each pose, especially if a pose is challenging for us. Let's keep breathing rather than holding the breath. Throughout our practice, we make a promise to ourselves to listen to the body at all times, easing up when needed and giving ourselves more of a challenge when wanted. Let's take a few more cleansing and centering breaths. And when we're ready, let's slowly open our eyes. Now we're going to start off with some long arm reaches, and there's a couple different ways we can do this. So let's try the first way. On the inhale, let's reach one long arm up alongside the body, and on the exhale, let's reach the other arm up. So just alternate those long arm reaches. Another way that you might try is to just reach those arms up so the top palm faces outward, and then we switch sides. So it's more of a lateral raise, reaching all the way to the ceiling. Starting to lubricate the shoulders. And of course, we're only going to move in the range of motion that feels best for our shoulders today. So let's listen to the body at all times. One more time on each side. Now let's bring both arms together, palms touching, the elbows are right in front of us, in front of the chest. Let's open up through the chest for chest expansion, and on the exhale, bring those arms together. Starting off with some gentle movements for the shoulders today. Few more times here. Inhale as you open the chest, exhale, closing. Now let's relax the arms. Let's try a little backstroke, just moving each arm just through the shoulders here. So we let the arms relax, but we're moving them back. So you start to get a little twist through the trunk here with each little backstroke motion. And it's a nice way to lubricate the shoulder joint in a very gentle way. One more time on each side. Now let's relax the hands, letting them rest a moment on the legs. Let's go ahead and work through the neck here. Inhaling nice and tall, sitting up tall on the chair. On the exhale, a gentle turn of the head to one side. Inhaling, gently bring the head back to the center. And on the exhale, a head turn to the other side. Inhaling, bringing the head back to the center. Now a very small tilt of the head to one side. Inhaling as we lift upright. Exhale, tilting to the other side. Inhale and lifting up. Now let's lower the chin down on the diagonal toward the inside of one elbow, and you'll feel that wonderful stretch behind the neck. Inhaling and lifting upright. On the exhale, let's take a chin drop over to the other side. Inhaling, lifting back up, rolling our shoulders back. Now let's inhale the left arm up to shoulder height, watching the tips of our fingers as we gently twist through the trunk. Inhaling back to the center and exhaling down. Other side, let's inhale up to shoulder height. Exhale, twisting, twisting. Inhaling back to the center and exhaling down. A lateral raise with a gentle twist. One more time on each side. Relaxing that arm down. Now let's extend one long leg in front of us as the opposite arm reaches high, then exhale back down. Other sides, inhaling and extending, exhaling down. Still sitting up tall on the chair, engaging our abdominals here. Inhaling as we lengthen, exhaling when we return back to the ground. Getting lots of good lubrication for the shoulder joints and adding lubrication for the knee joints too with this spinal balance flow. One more time on each side. Now let's come back to 2 feet flat on the ground. Let's reach both arms down alongside the body. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals, sitting up tall. On the exhale, a tea kettle reach to one side. On the inhale, lift, lift, lift with your trunk muscles. On the exhale, a reach to the other side. Inhale, lifting, lifting. Exhale, reaching. One more tea kettle reach on each side. Now let's come all the way back upright, roll the shoulders back. Let's turn the palms of our hands to face forward, getting ready for airplane flow. Let's inhale tall through the crown. On the exhale, we hinge forward, reaching our jet wings behind us, palms down. And on the inhale, we rise up and lift those long arms in front of us. Exhaling as we hinge forward. Inhaling and rising tall. Starting to build a little heat with these flowing movements here. but still using shoulder-friendly range of motion for the arms. One more time using airplane flow. Now let's take those arms out to the side. Now for a shoulder-friendly sun salutation, let's swan dive down to a forward fold. On the inhale, let's lift the back to a 45-degree angle for monkey. And on the exhale, back down, forward fold. Rise up and just bring those arms to shoulder height. Exhale, swan diving down. Inhaling to monkey. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling and rising up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, lift to monkey. Exhale, down to forward fold. And inhale as you rise. Now, when we rise back up from these sun salutations, if you want to use those overhead arms with that little flip at the shoulder height, feel free to do so. A few more times through, building good heat in the body here. Strong through the abdominal muscles as we fold forward and whenever we rise up. Last time through. And then we'll bring those arms all the way back down and we'll roll those shoulders back and down. Now go ahead and grab a drink if you have one beside you. Now, if you want to stay seated for this next part of the class, what you'll do is you'll scooch forward on the chair and take a wide stance here with the feet. So the toes are pointing out on the diagonal, the knees and the toes are headed in the same direction. You get some good hip opening through this seated stance. If you'd rather be standing for this part, you're just going to come on back here. We're going to take a wide stance here on the mat. So I'm going to bend through the knees here. When I bend my knees, I want to make sure that I can still see my toes down there. So when we're ready, let's inhale the arms up to a star pose. And on the exhale, let's bring those elbows in toward the ribs. Inhale, reaching up, long arms. Exhale, come back to moonflowers. We're going to start to build a little heat here with these flowing movements. So if you start to get a little too warm, you can always exhale and let some of that hot air out from the body. Keeping the abdominals engaged to help with our balance here. One more of these moonflowers, and then we're going to go into our hinging sunflowers. So you can use overhead arms if you want, or just take those arms up to shoulder height. Let's hinge forward and gather, and on the inhale we rise. Exhale, hinging forward, bending through the knees, inhaling and rising. Exhale as you hinge, inhale, rise up. When we hinge forward, we get this wonderful stretch behind the legs as well. This is our sunflower hinge. Reaching those arms out to their longest length. One more time, hinging forward. Now let's use side angle pose here. Let's lean over to one side and reach that opposite arm overhead, and then come back to shoulder height arms. Then we're gonna lean into the other side for side angle and come all the way back. So rest your forearm on the thigh. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, come on back. So it's a side-to-side movement here. Now, if you're guarding your shoulders and you don't want to lift those arms overhead, you know you don't have to. We're just trying to build a little heat here and get some good side bend work. One more time on each side. Let's come all the way back to the center, rolling those shoulders back and down several times. Now let's step our feet to hips distance apart here. Let's lace the fingers, leaving the arms to hang down low by our lap, or by where the lap would be. Let's inhale the arms up to shoulder height, turn the palms outward, and if you're comfortable, lift those arms up as high as you like. Now this is a nice way to stretch through the elbows, the wrists, the palms of the hands, and also through the shoulders. But if it's not comfortable to lift the arms overhead, just take those arms right out long in front of you. That's a wonderful option as well. So whichever option feels good for you, this is what we call upholding heaven posture, relaxing through the shoulders. Breathing rather than holding the breath. 2 more breaths here. Now let's bring the arms all the way down. Turn the palms over. Roll those shoulders back and down. Now let's take our left arm and reach across the chest and use your right arm to hug it in close for a half knot. Another brilliant way to stretch out through the shoulders. I'm hoping it's feeling as good for you as it is for me. And if not, we're just going to ease back. Keep the abdominals engaged. Stand up nice and tall. Listening to the sound of our own healthy breathing. One more breath. Now relax that arm down. Let's reach our right arm across the chest, hug it in close to the body for a half knot. Now relax that arm, roll the shoulders back and down. Now I'm going to make a couple adjustments to my mat here. I want to make sure that you can see all parts of this next part, the pose, because we're going to work on the warrior series. So I'm just going to move my mat back a little bit here. Make sure that we've got everything here that you'll need to see. And we're going to turn our chair cushion to stand behind the chair. Now standing behind our chair, we're going to prepare for our warrior series. So I want to make sure that my feet are hips distance apart, which is just about as wide as my chair legs here. We're going to stand up nice and tall. Let's start with our right leg stepping straight back as far as we can step with that whole right foot connecting to the ground behind us. And I like to angle my right foot here out on just a slight diagonal. So imagine if we have a clock right in front of us at the noon, the 12 is straight up. My little toes, my toes on the right foot are pointing maybe towards the 11 on that clock. So we're going to stand up nice and tall, shoulders right above the hips. I've got a good bend in the left knee, looking straight ahead for warrior one. Now I can hold on to the chair this whole time for stability help, or I might choose to let go with one hand. I might let go with both hands. Looking straight out into the distance with a soft gaze through the eyes. One more breath in warrior one. Now I'm going to hold on to my chair with my left hand here. Let's carefully take that right foot and step back as if we're on a balance beam here. My left toes are still facing forward. My right foot is now parallel to the back of the mat. We're looking out and over the left middle finger, and I'm stretching out long through both arms. The shoulders are right above the hips here again, so I'm not going too far forward or too far back. We're keeping the shoulders right above the hips. Reaching out for warrior two. Finding our focus at the tip of that left middle finger and allowing all other thoughts to fade away. Engage the abdominals to help with balance and to support the back. 2 more breaths here. Now when you're ready, let's flip the left hand up toward the ceiling. Let's reach forward to serve our friends and then tilt back with the upper body. This is our reverse warrior. Now you can look up to those high left fingertips if you want to get a little more balance work, or you can look straight ahead or straight past your arm, the left arm. Whichever feels best for you, your neck, whatever feels right for this practice. Let's take 3 more breaths. And let's come all the way back to warrior two. Let's relax the arms and step up to the back of the chair. Now holding on to the back of the chair, let's walk ourselves back into a downward dog position. Both feet flat on the ground, pressing back through the tailbone to lengthen through the spine. Engaging the abdominals here to support the back. Nice and relaxed through the neck. Let's take a few more breaths here. Maybe we'll wag the dog's tail gently side to side, stretching out a little more through the lower back. Then we'll bring those hips back to the center and walk ourselves up to the back of our chair. Let's roll those shoulders back again. Now, let's go ahead and start the same movements on the other side. So we've got both feet hips distance apart, standing up tall. We engage the abdominal muscles here. Let's this time take the left foot back for warrior one. Stepping as far back as you can with that whole left foot connecting to the ground. Still have a good bend in that right knee. Shoulders over the hips, looking straight ahead with a soft gaze through the eyes. Warrior one. Now let's put our right hand on the chair back. Leave the right foot where it is. Pick up the left foot, stepping back into Warrior Two with that balance beam stance. Looking out over our right middle finger this time for Warrior Two. Now when you're ready, turn that right palm up toward the sky, reach forward to serve your friends, lengthening the spine as well, and then tilt the upper body back. So the right arm is reaching high, the left arm is resting on the left leg. Find a comfortable position for the neck. Maybe looking straight ahead feels best. When we're ready, let's come all the way back to Warrior Two. Relax the arms, gently, gently step on up to the back of the chair. Now let's take a little balance break here. We're going to step back a little bit with each foot. We're going to rock back on the heels with a little hinge forward from the hips. And on the inhale, lift up to the tiptoes. So exhale as you rock back. Inhale, lifting to tiptoes. Couple more times, rocking back and forth. Now let's bring those feet back down to ground level. So now we're going to try something that I haven't used before in my classes. We're going to do a special sun salutation that's shoulder friendly. It's actually going to be done up against the wall. So hopefully you have a wall close by. If you don't, hopefully you can pause the video and get to a wall close by. So I'm going to just move my chair here for a moment. You certainly don't have to move your chair, but I didn't want to run into it. So you're going to come over here and just face a flat wall. Hopefully there's no artwork here. There's nothing for us to get in the way of. So this wall sun salutation is going to be, like I said, more friendly for the shoulders. So the first thing that we want to do is position ourselves far enough from the wall that when we reach out to touch it, we're going to be able to reach it. So maybe just see where that measures for you, okay? And of course, we can always make adjustments during this sun salutation. So we're going to stand tall, roll the shoulders back and down. On the next inhale, let's reach both arms up, reaching as high as you can toward the ceiling. And on the exhale, a hinge forward from the hips. I'm going to step my feet back a little bit. This is called wall dog. It's our wall version of downward dog. So we press back through the tailbone here. Now from here, I'm going to inhale and step my left foot forward, coming into a Warrior One pose. And then on the exhale, we're going to step back to downward dog. Now step about halfway up toward the wall, and let's exhale, coming into wall cobra. Pressing back and stepping back into downward dog. Now this time we're going to step our right foot forward, coming into Warrior One. Exhaling back to downward dog. Now let's step all the way up, reach high, and then bring those arms back down. Let's go ahead and try it again. Let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward into your wall dog, downward dog here. On the inhale, let's come forward with the left foot for warrior one. On the exhale, come back to downward dog. Stepping halfway up toward the wall, let's inhale. On the exhale, lower the chest and the chin toward the wall for cobra, keeping the neck long. Then exhale back to downward dog. Inhale, stepping the right foot forward for warrior one. Exhale, step back to downward dog. Now let's inhale, just lift up from the wall, and on the exhale, come all the way down. Let's try it again. Inhale, reach those arms high. On the exhale, I need to get closer to my wall here. Find your wall dog. Inhale, come into that left foot forward, warrior one. Exhale, coming back, downward dog. Now, let's come forward, inhale, and exhale down into cobra. Come back, downward dog. Inhale, step that right foot forward for warrior one. Exhaling back, downward dog. Now, from here, we lift off the wall, inhaling, exhale those arms down. Let's try it a couple more times. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward to downward dog. On the inhale, come forward with the left foot for warrior one. On the exhale, we step back, downward dog. Stepping up and inhaling. On the exhale, we come into our cobra, chest and chin toward the wall. Exhale back, downward dog. Inhaling forward with the right foot for warrior one. Exhaling back, downward dog. Now let's, from downward dog, we want to lift off the wall and bring those arms down. One more time through. Let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward, downward dog, find your footing. On the inhale, come forward into warrior one. Exhaling back, downward dog. Stepping halfway up to the wall, we inhale. Bring the chest and the chin toward the wall for cobra. Come on back, downward dog. On the inhale, let's take the right foot forward for warrior one. Come on back, downward dog as we exhale. And then we inhale, rise up. Exhale, bring those arms all the way down and roll the shoulders back and down. So it's a different way to do a sun salutation, still gets us warmed up in a good positive way, and it may be a more comfortable way for your shoulders to use our downward dog. And of course, we also have a chair version as well. So let's get ready for a standing balance posture here. If I have my chair beside me, I can turn it back to where we started. I'm going to do tree pose using my chair for stability help if needed. So let's shift our balance over to one foot closest to the chair, point through the other toes, draw that foot in, and let's go ahead and find our version of tree that we like best. Toes can be at ground level, they can be up on the calf or above the knee on that inner thigh area. Looking straight ahead into the distance with a soft gaze through the eyes. Let's engage our abdominal muscles. Let's lift the crown of our head tall toward the ceiling. And if you want to let go of the chair, you're welcome to, but you never have to. Rooting down through that grounded leg. When you're ready, let's shake out those limbs. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you might just turn around and face the other direction if you still want to hold on to the chair. I'll continue to look forward so you can see what we're doing here. We're going to shift our balance over to the other leg, point through the other toes, draw that foot in, decide which level feels good for this side of the body. Looking straight ahead into the distance, focusing on a steady focal point. Now let's shake out those limbs. When you're ready, let's roll the shoulders back and down. Now this next twist can be done seated or standing, but everybody should have their feet hips distance apart. Let's bring both hands together at heart center. Let's inhale tall through the spine, engage the abdominal muscles. On the exhale, we're going to start to twist, twist, twist toward either side of the mat. Now gently, gently, let's unwind, coming all the way back to the center. Let's try the same thing on the other side. Let's inhale, engaging our abdominals. On the exhale, we turn, turn, turn in the other direction. Now gently, gently, let's come all the way back to the center. Again, whether you're seated or standing, let's inhale the arms up as high as is comfortable. Let's put a little bend in the knees as we swan dive down to our forward fold. Let's gently straighten the legs here if you're standing. And of course, you only straighten them to as far as is comfortable for you. Relaxing through the spine, keeping our abdominals engaged here to support the back as we're folding forward. Remember, if you're someone who's working through vertigo, glaucoma, or uncontrolled high blood pressure, we would want to keep our chest parallel to the ground. We would not want to put our head below the heart for those folks. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Now, when you're ready, if you're standing, we want to put a little bend in the knees. Everyone engaging the abdominals. Inhale, lifting, lifting, lifting the arms as high as is comfortable. And let's bring those arms down and roll the shoulders back and down. Now, we're all going to have a seat on the chair here. You're welcome to take a drink again. And we're going to go through some of our poses that use our yoga strap or whatever we're using in place of a yoga strap. So we're going to start off by sitting forward on the chair. So we're sitting nice and tall. One foot is connected to the ground and it's going to stay there. The strap, We're going to take that and put it across the middle of the other foot and just put the strap in your hand and kind of wrap up a little slack here. Let's inhale, lift that leg up as high as is comfortable for you. And on the inhale, we take that leg out to the side. On the exhale, we bring it back to the center. Inhaling and exhaling. Half wide legs straddle flow. Remember, let's keep our posture intact, sitting up nice and tall rather than leaning back on the chair. 2 more times, opening up to the side. Now let's come back to the center. Let's move that loop over to the other foot and let's try it over here. So let's lift that leg up, gather up the slack here in your strap, flexing the foot that's in the air, sitting up tall. Inhale out to the side, then exhale as you come back in. Few more times, opening out to the side with our half wide leg straddle flow. It's a great way to open up through the hips, especially if you have maybe a job or if your lifestyle has you sitting down a lot. Opening up those hips can be so beneficial to us. Now let's keep this strap just folded in half. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sitting up nice and tall, let's engage the abdominals. Let's lift the arms as high as is comfortable today. It's a lot like our upholding heaven posture. Relax the shoulders here. Keeping those arms up long is going to open the chest. It's going to give us a wonderful stretch through the upper back as well. Two more breaths. Now let's lower those arms down for a moment. Roll the shoulders back. Now we're going to use a seated twist here, and we're going to use the strap. Now the strap really has nothing to do with this twist. However, it's going to encourage us to focus the work here in the in the torso, rather than kind of muscling through and maybe pressing the body a little further and deeper into the poses. It's not to say that we can't get deep. It's just to say using the strap helps us to focus on these trunk muscles and focus on them doing the work for us, okay? So you're going to take that strap. Let's lift it up no higher than shoulder height. Engage the abdominal muscles, sitting up tall. And on the exhale, starting below the belly button, let's start to twist gently, gently, gently over toward either side of our chair. Now remember, only twist as far as your trunk is willing to go today. Listening to the body at all times. If your arms are getting tired at shoulder height, you can lower them down. Sitting tall, keeping the abdominals engaged. Let's take 4 more breaths. Now when you're ready, let's inhale, exhale, turning back toward the center, and relax for a moment. Okay, we'll do the same thing on the other side of the body. Let's inhale, the arms up, engaging the abdominals. On the exhale, starting to twist, twist, twist toward the other side of our chair. Wringing out anything that is of no use to us anymore. Toxins, negative thinking, anything you let go of, need to let go of. Let's do it here. Now let's gently, gently, gently come on back to the center. Relax the arms. Go ahead and put that strap over to the side here. Let's reach back for chest expansion pose. Imagine you're holding on to a big beach ball behind you. You might just hold on to the chair frame behind you if it's within reach. Keeping the chest nice and open. It's a wonderful stretch for not only the front of the chest, and that's the front of the shoulders, but also the back of the shoulders as well. Now let's wrap our arms around a big tree trunk in front of us, pulling those abdominals in, rounding through the shoulders. Now when you're ready, let's open up a little. Relax the shoulders back and down. So a little bit more neck work here. Let's inhale tall through the crown. On the exhale, let's turn the head to look over one shoulder. Now on the inhale, let's look up as a bird looks out of its nest. Now this time when we exhale, let's gently draw a semicircle down by the chest. And on the inhale, let's lift to look out of another bird's nest. Exhaling, gently, gently lowering the chin. Inhale, lifting, lifting on a gentle diagonal. One more time in each direction. Now let's gently bring the chin parallel to the shoulder, turning the head back towards center. Now, oftentimes you'll see people that will tilt their head to the side and then they'll add a hand that's gently pressing down a little more, which does give us an opportunity to get deeper into the stretch. However, if we're already working through some concerns with the neck, or if we just want to be more conservative in our practice, there is another way that I'd like for you to try, and we're going to do that here. So let's inhale tall, engaging the abdominals. Now on the exhale, let's tilt our head toward our left shoulder. So already we're feeling a nice stretch through the side of the neck. Now let's take our right arm and reach it down on the diagonal. And you'll notice that not only are you feeling the stretch in the neck, but you might feel that stretch continue on down over that shoulder, maybe down into the lower or the upper part of the arm. So already we're getting a deeper stretch just by reaching that arm out and stretching it out on the diagonal. Let's take 3 more breaths. Now when you're ready, gently, gently lift the head upright. Now this time on the exhale, we're going to take and tilt the head over toward the right shoulder. We notice where we're feeling the stretch, and then we might extend that left arm down on the diagonal. Really reach that left arm out to its longest length, and notice how the stretch goes on into the shoulder area too. Now, of course, if anything was feeling uncomfortable here, we would take a break because that's paramount, listening to the body at all times. 2 more breaths. Now, when you're ready, gently, gently come back upright. Let's roll the shoulders back and down. Why don't we end our practice before Shavasana, of course, with a little facial yoga. So let's bring our hands in front of us, palms facing us. Just start to wiggle your fingers. I call these fluttery fingers. And we're going to just gently tap, tap, tap at the forehead, all around that third eye. And then we're going to move the fingertips down toward the temples. Now this is supposed to be a gentle palpation here, just a gentle tap, tap, tap. Nothing should be hurting here. And let's move those fingertips down to just under the eyes. And then maybe we'll move on up toward the bridge of the nose. And then we'll move on down the jawline. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap, tap. And then we'll start to just kind of brush up the neck here. It's just brushing up the neck. Brushing, just gently sweeping up the forehead with the palms of your hands. Now let's take our 2 pointer fingers and gently rub in a circular motion that bony spot behind each ear. And then maybe we'll reverse the circles. And you could even continue to take this facial yoga all the way up into the scalp. We could massage the scalp very gently, gently. And that should feel really nice for us. Just all these wonderful things that you can do with your yoga to make you feel so nice and comfortable. All right. Now let's go ahead and settle into Shavasana here. Here is the opportunity for us to sit all the way back in the chair, or you could lie down on the floor if you want to move your chair out of the way. When we sit down for Shavasana, or when we lie down for Shavasana, we know that our only requirement is to just breathe easily and just observe how we're feeling in the body. Sometimes we'll have thoughts or images or even colors pop into our mind. We simply observe those things and we just let them go for now. We can think about them later if we want to. So let's get comfortable, whether we're seated or lying down. Let's allow ourselves to breathe gentle, gentle breaths. And let's take a moment to gently awaken these bodies from this balancing, mindful rest. Let's start to invite small movements into the fingers and the toes, gently, gently waking them. And let's start to breathe a little more deeply, inviting nourishing oxygen into all parts of this physical body and mind. And we notice that our hearts are shining with gratitude today. Grateful for this shared practice that is so friendly for the neck and the shoulders. Grateful for the other yoga poses in our practice that we've combined together to help us move through all parts of the physical body, not just the neck and the shoulders. And we're always grateful for the many gifts of our practice: focus, balance, breathing. And we know that we can take these gifts with us everywhere we go. It doesn't have to be just here on our mats. Now, for those who are lying down for Shavasana, let's take a moment to bend the knees, hugging them in a little closer to our chest, perhaps rocking the knees gently side to side. And when we're ready, for those lying down, let's roll the entire body over to one side on the mat. As all of us here breathe in the many jewels of our practice, and we exhale all of the warmth, kindness, encouragement, and love that we have for each other, for the world around us, and for ourselves. For those lying down, when you're ready, with our eyes still closed, let's make our way back up to an easy seated posture. I invite everyone here to bring both palms together at heart center. Let's start to rub the hands vigorously to warm them. And let's use our warm hands to gently cover our closed eyes. And that wonderful heat that we find there is inviting our eyes to slowly open, and we bring our hands to rest upon our laps. Clear minds, kind words, compassionate hearts. Namaste.